sales calls today. All right, we are live. All right, so it's just the two of us today, so plenty of time to go over everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what's new with you?
What's new with me is we're deciding to focus, kind of double down on our marriage offer.
Okay.
Just there's a really big opportunity here, and the flywheel is like about to start kicking in terms of like with the leads coming in, the quality leads. We have this new sales rep I mentioned who's like doing really well. He's making good closes, full payments, and the ads are starting to really work. So what we're focusing on now is like we call like the forced results, like really kind of nailing down like how to give these guys like massive results and like be the best in the market about that. And I can tell you what we're considering first, just so like any advice you give me, we already thought of. So obviously like going through other client testimonials and like really deconstructing what led to those results. We're thinking about like looking at, because right now like my approach, John, like my coaching is more obviously the way I was trained is I want to teach someone how to fish instead of giving them the fish.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a better long-term solution. But when these guys first come to the program, it's like you think of dating, like a lot of like, especially as a novice, these guys want the words to say to a girl, right?
Right.
And the most common question I get on these onboarding calls is like, okay, what do I say to my wife? What do I say to her?
Okay. Yeah.
And it's kind of frustrating because it's like, well, you kind of embody the man
Right.
that she's attracted to, and then whatever comes out of that mouth is what is getting the right thing to say.
Exactly.
But these
Yeah.
guys still, they're like, well, I don't understand what to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like even though we want to implement the long-term coaching of becoming the high value man that just like wants his wife, doesn't need her, focuses on himself, assertive, all the good stuff really integrated. We're thinking that it's still a good approach to like, especially if like we treat them as like a novice in game, that they're like
Mm-hmm.
give them some words based on like their archetype of what to say to the wife, the conversations to have with her.
Right.
And
Right.
so first of all, I kind of want to know what is your thoughts on that, and like how if you had a marriage offer saving men's marriages, like what would be your kind of like R&D approach to get these guys results?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, yeah. So like looking at the problem, like you said, I think I like the idea that you have to fix the man first, right? You can't just give him the words to say. So it has to be on that. So, I mean, my approach would be to look at, all right, well, to teach a guy kind of, very similar to the concepts in the way of the superior man, right? About masculinity and femininity, right? Most guys, well, what stage are they at? Like, are they at a stage where, like, where are these guys at?
So that's another thing I was going to mention is that stage of their like marriage, like what is the state of their
Yeah.
marriage? Yeah,
Yeah.
for a lot of so unfortunately for a lot of them when they come to us, it's like it's almost like the point of no return. It's like too late. They're like their wife handed the divorce papers in, she started dating another guy. And so like we're really fighting an uphill battle here. So part of the strategy in our marketing is to start tailoring, like targeting guys. And half of them are still in their marriages, and it's just a rocky marriage.
Uh-huh.
We really want to target the guys that are like, the wife is still kind of like on board a little bit. So it's like we're able to get them results because a lot
Right.
of these men who are the wife is just like moved out or whatever. It's just such a hard battle to fight to get them to get results. We've gotten some, but so right now where they're at is like generally their wife is pretty much checked out emotionally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that makes sense. Because the problem is that women and men handle the things differently. By the time that a woman has reached that stage, it's completely done. It's dead, right? A guy might cheat because he's bored or because but if a woman, especially if she cheats, if she goes with another guy, that
she's
relationship
falling
is,
in love with another man, like
yeah.
it's like, yeah. So I mean
But yeah.
that's where they're at, a lot of them.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, it's interesting. I think maybe a unified approach is because, okay, either situation, right? If the guy is in a situation where his wife is still somewhat on board versus one where she's completely done, the solution is still the same, right? The solution is essentially be the man that you're supposed to be, right? Because a lot of times I think guys their approach to saving the marriage is to be super needy, and that just turns her off even more. Like, what can I do to make you stay? Like all this stuff. Because the reason why she probably got to that state was because he was a super nice, needy guy who just like, or what, I guess there's a lot of different reasons, but he wasn't the masculine man that he needed to become. So the solution is to rehabilitate that guy to become the masculine man, where he really has to be outcome independent and say, I don't, I'm going to focus on me and becoming a better person. And as a result of that, obviously I would treat the woman in my life a much better. And, but I don't need this outcome to be, which is, I think that's a hard pill to swallow, right? Because guys are paying you to fix things, but the real solution for them in life is for them to not need that outcome. And that has the highest chance of fixing things. Because if a guy turns around and he's now taking charge of his life and improving himself and working on himself as a man and developing himself, the woman is much more likely to be like, wow, this guy is, she's much more likely to be attracted to him and want to stay in the relationship. But most of these guys, I think what they're usually doing is probably desperately trying to get her back and sending her letters and messages.
So,
And
yeah, and we teach them all this. We teach them all this, John. And I'm just trying to think, like, is there an added like in the service that we provide? Is there some added service, accountability, support?
that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, to like just improve the probability of these results, because like that, all that concept and information, even some of that, it's all in the course, and we give them the support, and I remind them ad nauseum, like in the group calls, like, this is the man you got to be. This is what it looks like. Here's a chart of like the passive is weak, no boundary guy. Here's the aggressive, controlling guy. Here's what it looks like in every situation.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, can I go above and beyond even further than that? And we have some solutions that we're going to test out, but I just wanted to kind of bounce it off you to see if you had any additional ideas of things that you would do, like to make sure that these guys are like, it's like, here's the course. There's almost no way for you to fail unless you just don't take action. Like, we want to be like, you didn't
I see.
because you didn't take action. Like, that's
right.
we don't want them to blame us for like,
Yeah. I mean, I think what it comes down to is an expectation shift of basically saying that the focus, something like for 90 days, we're going to focus, you're not going to focus on the relationship. You're not going to focus on the past. You're not going to focus on the things that you want. You're just going to focus on being this man, on showing up and being the guy that like, and becoming this guy. And if you do that focus, that's going to give you the best chance of success. It may not happen. Yeah. I mean, I think you kind of have to be like, look, you can't guarantee that this is going to happen. It may not happen, but there's nothing that is going to make it more likely. If it is going to happen at all, it's going to happen this way. It's going to be this 90-day path of you transforming yourself and becoming the best man possible. And if at the end of that, or during that process, she doesn't want to be with you, then she's not worthy of you. I mean, it almost becomes that. It's like, and your life will be better. Regardless, your life will be better because you'll be a better man. And that's, and you'll avoid this problem again. I don't know. I mean, it's easy for me to say that, but I know that guys that are in this situation, and that's not exactly the message that they're going to want to hear.
I know.
But I think that's the thing is like, but I do think that giving them a path of like, all they need to do is focus on this and doing this for 90 days or whatever it is, and put themselves fully into this, and that gives them the best shot. I think that's the better road than, because otherwise they're like, okay, it's not working. This is not working. Like you told me to do this, is not working. Because if they're focused like that, then they're going to be nightmare customers. And then they're going to say, well, I want a refund because their expectation is wrong. Because the expectation cannot be, you cannot control another person. You can't, there's no way, but what you can control is being the best possible man. And that you guys have the experience and knowledge to know what makes a man that is the man that women want to be with in a relationship.
Yeah. And I obviously we do that. I just think maybe we have to increase to the degree and severity of which we kind of implement that expectation. I think it's really important on these onboarding calls that I have with these guys, because on the onboarding calls, I'm more just like, I am setting expectations, but not to that degree. So I think it's really important. My concern is like, I'm just gonna be candid with you. Like, I feel like I feel concerned that maybe that expectation will like make a lot of guys feel defeated.
Right.
And it's like,
I think,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I think you just need a good like way of getting through to them with that, because you're right. Like that expectation could make people feel defeated, and then they might say, "Oh, I don't want to do this. Like, I want to find someone who's going to guarantee me a result or whatever." But I think you could get, if you can get through to someone, because the thing is that having that expectation will make the satisfaction higher, because you can actually meet that expectation. Whereas maybe an analogy of like, it's like I'm trying to think of a good analogy, but essentially you have to communicate the point to them that, look, you can do, if you do everything, well, I mean, okay, maybe this kind of analogy, this is what I could think of. Like, let's say that you're gonna compete in the Olympics, right? Like a swimming or something like that. All you could do is train every day as hard as you could. That's what you could do. You could do every single thing that you could do to train every day. And then when you get to the pool and you go and you swim your event, it's not up to you. You can put in your best effort, but it's not like the other person may beat you, and there's nothing that you could do to stop that from happening, right? But if you show up every day and you put in the work and you put in the training, you increase the probability to that. That's the best chance that you could possibly have, right? And I think that's what you can offer guys, is the best possible chance that they could possibly have, right? And that's where I think you can set the expectation and still say, hey, look, you can go somewhere else, and someone else can promise you, oh yeah, I can get you, I can fix your marriage, I can get her to come back to you. But that's not true, because no one can do that, right? Only you can do the best that you can and become the best man possible, and then we can show you how to do that. And that gives you the highest probability. It doesn't guarantee you success, but it does. But one of two things will happen. Either it will be successful, right? And as a result, you'll be a better man because of it, or it won't be successful, but you will still be successful because you'll still be a better man, which is the reason why you got into this mess in the first place, right? So you'll never have to experience that again in your life, and you will come out of this being a better man. So you have a good outcome either way. If you don't do this and you just try to patch things up and just try to say certain things or whatever people tell you to do, it's not going to fix the core problem. She might come back to you for now. She might stay with you for now. But if you haven't changed who you are and become this man, you'll just be in the situation again.
Yeah. And I 100% agree with that. And yeah, it's funny because I was on a group call one time with these guys, and I was explaining that concept through the paradigm and the model of the levels of consciousness by Dr. Hawkins.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, hey guys, it is possible, that you raise your level of consciousness and you come to this place of acceptance and neutrality and reason and stuff, and grow. And she doesn't want to grow with you, and you guys would separate. And this guy was like, I didn't come into this program to like tell me that my wife's not going to be with me. And it's like, he goes, I just want my wife back. And it's like, oh God, dude. But
then I think the counter to that is like,
he would not be a good fit for the program.
Yeah. But the counter to that, I think maybe you can even, is to say, look, what you're demonstrating right now, would you want to be with someone who had that? Like that's not the attitude of someone that is someone who's going to be a good partner in a relationship. That that really, I mean, that is the truth. I mean, it's a hard truth, but it is the truth of the situation, right? So, that we tried it your way, let's try it my way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, it's
that's a tough one though, because I mean, in that situation,
the hardest
there's only one thing they want, and whatever they can do to bargain, beg, steal, whatever to get to that. I get it. But yeah, so it's hard to put them on the path to give them the actual medicine that they need. But that's why I say I think that the best, the way I would approach it is to say, look, like an Olympic athlete, you can only we're going to train you. That's what we'll do. And that, the race, the competition, you can't control the competition. You can't control what she does, but we can train you to be the best man. And hey, if that's not good enough, that you'll at least have known you did everything you could do. And that, I think most reasonable guys would accept that. And if they won't accept that, then there's no way you can help them anyway. And so there's no point in taking their money, because if they won't accept that, they're not in the right place. They have no chance at this. So
yeah, I like that. Thank you. Yeah, I think that process even starts on like this with our sales reps, like letting them know, that like, hey, we're going to give you the best opportunity, the best chance. Like nothing's guaranteed. And I mean, maybe they don't have to forcefully say that, but if the client asks for a guarantee, it's like, well, no, we can't guarantee anything, right?
Right. Yeah. That's true. I mean, you could throw guarantees out there, and then, in knowing that some probability, some percentage, but I think in your case, I think the percentages are going to be too bad, right? Because, we know if a girl is already checked out of the relationship, that it's like 1%, maybe a 5% chance that she's coming back. It's just not. Once a woman's done, she's done. That it's different for guys, but a woman being done with a relationship, that's it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's really rare for a woman to come back to a guy. Yeah, because like women, they tie up a lot of their identity more into relationships, right? So when it fails, going back to that guy, it reminds them of the failure, right?
Yep.
And I'm trying to like even like look at like dark. It's like I don't teach these guys this, but I'm just like, when it comes to like the extreme situations of like the woman's moved out and she says she's done, she's not even talking to the guy. Is it better for the guy to start dating other women, right? And like let his wife see that? Like, I don't know. I haven't talked to you guys that, but
that's
fire, right.
That's an interesting. I mean, it's sort of like the answer to that question though, and in my mind, is there's not a definite. Is that in alignment with the man and his values and who he's becoming? Because if you have a guy and he's now living his best life, and he's gonna go and become his best version of himself, and he's working on himself, and part of that is going out and like he's like, hey, if his attitude towards his wife is, hey, I love you, I want to be in this relationship, I want you to come back, like but I'm not gonna, like, it's up to you, like, I'm here being the best man I can, I'm gonna go and date, and because I'm not gonna just put my life on hold and dependent on you and put all this pressure on you. If that's his mindset, I think then that does make sense, and it probably would be effective. But if his mindset is like, oh, I'm gonna do this so she'll be jealous, then that's still a weak mindset, and it's not a very masculine mindset, because he's doing it only because it shows more neediness than anything, right? So I think it backfires in that case. So I think it really depends on where the guy is, like, and what, how much of what you've taught him is being taken in, and how much he's growing and evolving, because he could do it for two. In one case it would be wrong, in the other case I think it would be the right move. So
yeah, you're right. How are those? I'm really curious, John, how like the results so far of I know you haven't done it for too long to maybe see tangible results, but like how are the results of the thumbnail?
Let's take a look at that. So
if this is working really well for you, we want to like actually try this ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. Let me see. Let me log into this, and we'll take a look. I haven't looked at them for a couple of days here. It takes a while because you have to get enough data, but to be statistically significant. But okay, so if we look at the completed ones so far, these are the results. It's from these three are the only completed ones so far. So this one is a pretty big difference from 1% to 3.78% click through, which should be pretty good. And the watch time per impression is still, in fact, it's a tiny bit higher, but it's still about the same. I think because, and the reason why this is so low, 10 seconds, is because most of the traffic to this video comes from Google, not from actual YouTube. So people are like, oh, what is this?
Right.
So, but yeah, so that's one test. So we'll see how that, and then we had this one, this red pill one. This one actually, the original was better. So, and the confidence level on this was 96.1% or one. So,
The confidence level.
yeah, the confidence level. So it's based on, statistical significance, right? So this probably goes through the math, the mathematical calculation on statistical significance, which has to do with, how many exposures, what's the probability that, this is incorrect, right? There's only a 4% chance that they're wrong.
Got it. Yeah.
It might not be this much better, right? But it's at least somewhat better, right? I think that's the thing about this. And so this one he's going to redo, right? And again, it's interesting. Like, why would this one not be as good as this one, right? And then same thing here. This one also, the variation did not do nearly as good. Again, 95.8% sure of that, of the confidence level on that. So, because that got 800, and there's a lot of impressions. 867 impressions with 29 clicks, 679 with 35 clicks. So, and in fact, the new one had a lower watch time per impression. So, yeah. So that's what we're looking at for completed ones. But then we've got the ones in progress. So he's going to retest those ones, and then the ones in progress. Let me see what's red pill versus black pill. This one looks like it's going to be a winner, 3.73. This one's not much of a difference. In fact, I think this one should end. This one's only at 78% confidence level. 95% is required for it to switch up. So,
did you debate wheat waffles in that one?
Yeah. Well, I just had more of a conversation with him. Like, I didn't really do it was, I guess you could call it a debate or not, but it was more of a, I think he's one of the more reasonable people who would have a reasonable conversation in that space. So
yeah, I would love to have a conversation with him. Maybe I should reach out to him.
Yeah, I actually reached out to him. I sent him a video this last week because I told him that he needs my coaching because he's selling a Fiverr gig. His videos are getting like 200,000 views, and he's selling a Fiverr gig to rate people's face. I'm like, dude, like, I can make you a lot more money, right? It's like, we maybe have some differences in what we believe and stuff. That's fine, but from a business perspective, I can make you a lot more money, right? And maybe we can do something that's a little bit better than rating people.
What would he even sell? Like,
well, here's what I think he should sell, and this is what I pitched him. We'll see if he comes back. But I told him, I was like, look, you're telling all these guys, right, why the things that are bad about dating apps, about all these things, why this isn't going to work, all this stuff. I was like, why don't you've collected all this data, right? You have some opinions on this, you have some knowledge in this. Tell them how to be better, right? Sell a course on how to actually, based on all the statistics and data that you have, to tell them how to beat these odds, how to be better, and how to, navigate this. If this deck is stacked against them, help them build a better deck, right? Make it so better.
I think he would feel like a hypocrite because he like constantly just like, I've seen his videos where like, oh, look, another dating coach with a course trying to sell confidence to a guy that doesn't work. And so like for him to come out the course, I think he would feel like a fraud.
I think he could frame it in a way where he's like, look, well, here's the thing. Like, here's the practical steps that you could take, right? Like, he could still have his despondent view and be like, okay, it's really hopeless for a lot of guys, but here's the thing that you could do that actually statistically, right? Because he uses, from a very mathematical standpoint, statistically will give you better results, right? If you want statistically better results on Tinder, in life, and and he does mention in some of his videos, he's like, you should go here to look for women, not here. So he could put that kind of stuff together. I think, I don't know, but I think that would be at least positive in helping guys in some way. And he could charge a lot more money for something like that, rather than rating their faces and making people feel even more hopeless. So we'll see.
Well, let's change the subject. I can get really heated about this.
Or at least do a referral to like someone like us. So
Or he can like literally, I mean, BetterHelp would be a better income stream for him, you know?
yeah, BetterHelp is actually great. Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah.
Anyways.
So yeah, so some of these I'm not seeing any like major
Yeah,
ones
me either.
that are like
Yeah, I mean, like
really.
looking at the thumbnails,
Oh,
I don't.
this one actually. This is weird. 8.47.
Oh,
You know.
damn. I think it's maybe because it's a face, right? There's a face in it.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I mean, this one should complete,
Are
I
you being
think.
like, are you being mindful of like looking at overall, like what does better and what doesn't, like what works for a thumbnail? Like, oh, okay, I'm starting to notice that text like this works better, or like faces like this works better, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what we're, and my thumbnail designer, he's also, taking all that into account to try
Yeah.
and figure this out. But oh, this one is a huge one, right? Look at this. This one is actually black pill baby,
Damn, what?
right? So, and this one has, it should have, it's 96.5 percent sure. So the original had 74
I think
impressions and 4 clicks, 98 and 13
you
clicks. So
think it's
that's
because it's
pretty
like
good.
people have stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look at the watch time per impression too, right? So
Damn.
people listen longer because they're waiting for the story, I think.
Yeah.
So
Story, man.
yeah.
That's so
So
true. That's so true. Thinking about it now.
but yeah, we'll see. I mean, we're just into the beginning of these tests, but there's some. This one looks like a winner here. 0% confident because there's no clicks on the other one, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, this one's 119 and 5, and this 98 and 0.
Yeah, I can
So
tell you the bottom one will do better for sure.
yeah, that's gonna do better. So,
Looks good.
but the thing about this is, and these don't even. This one looks good too. These don't even. Oh, this one.
This next
You
one,
can,
yeah, for sure.
yeah,
A woman, yeah.
on the book
Titties,
review,
yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
But the thing about this too is that it doesn't even have to be huge. Remember, it's like if we just get a little bit, right? Let's say that with these thumbnails, because what I've done is I've taken the videos that get the highest impressions, and I've ranked them in that order, and that's what I have the thumbnail guy working on. Okay, and so let's suppose that we can get 10% lift on these more click-throughs, right? That will carry over to the whole channel views by a drastic amount. Like these things will multiply, because then also more people that click it, more people that are coming to the YouTube channel, that are watching other videos and so forth. So I'm hopeful that this will result in some pretty big wins here. But even just on the regular channel though, just having the thumbnail guy, even without doing the back catalog, he's just doing my simple programmer guy. Let me see here. Let me look at the regular videos that are coming out now just are doing better in general, right? So like this thumbnail, that one just came out. But if you look at like
I just posted a video, nice.
some of these videos, so like this one, this is why I love pain. It's getting, these are doing better. Probably better to look at the analytics than. I guess this is probably the best thing. But these videos are doing way better than the average. So like this one I messed up today, but I'm seeing higher click-through rates and everything. So
Yeah,
it seems to be lifting the channel. But
for sure. Nice. What else is new for you this week though, in terms of other stuff going on?
oh gosh, a lot of stuff. Crazy sales coming in the last
Oh,
3 days.
From where? From where?
I need to talk to my sales team and figure out exactly. I have some guesses as to what's happening here, but
Yeah,
I think we closed like probably $25,000 of sales in the last 2 days.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just keep on seeing sales coming in. And so there's two things that I think maybe, and I'll talk to them to figure out. So one is I send an email to the simple programmer list, my other software developers, and I said, in fact, let me show you the email, because I think this is pretty interesting.
Copy.
And I wanted to test this out because I figured this would appeal to them. Okay, This is the one. How I'm getting over 60% returns on my real estate investments. 24% open rate, 0.9% click rate. What's interesting about this too is I did a headline test on this. I split tested the headlines, and it's not what I would have thought. I mean, there's not a huge difference, but it selected I can't believe I'm telling you this over this and revealing my biggest secret. And that actually had the highest click-through rate, which is interesting. It didn't have the highest open rate, but it had the highest click-through rate. Like this one had a lower click-through rate because I already gave away the secret. So that was kind of a good learning experience there, right? Because that one, those held. But the email is basically, I'm gonna cut straight to the chase. I became financially free and early retired, and at the age of 33 by taking the earning I made as a software developer and strategically investing them into real estate. No, I didn't have to deal with tenants. No, I didn't do the stupid tax of trying to buy property with no money down, or foreclosures, or tax liens, or auctions, or fixing and flipping properties. None of that stupid crap that everyone tries to peddle. I did one simple strategy that anyone can do that is so boring that it seems way too good to be true, but the numbers prove otherwise. Using that strategy, I make over 60% returns on my investments every year. I got tired of explaining how it works, so I recorded it all in a video. So when people click this video, it takes them to that landing page that we saw before. It captures their email address. And then this video basically goes into, with a spreadsheet showing exactly how this works, right? Very in-depth. And then the book a call here. So when I looked at this, I think I got, I want to say that there was over 300 signups from this.
Like 300 click-throughs from the link.
Yeah. No, email signups, I think. Oh, there were 498 click-throughs, or 496 people. And I think 300 of them converted. In fact, I haven't even looked in ClickFunnels, but, oh no, it's not in ClickFunnels, it's in Thrive. But let me see what that page looks like. That is the real estate video opt-in. Conversion rates 32.75%, 261 conversions out of 797 impressions. So yeah, so that's pretty good amount of people that went through, put in their email, and then a bunch of them booked the call, I'm sure. So so that's one thing that I thought is that's probably very likely that, when people have seen that, they've seen the real estate returns, they've seen the spreadsheet, they're ready to buy. And then the second one was I did a poll on Instagram. You might have seen it, where I asked, how much money do you make? Right. And the cool thing about this is, because I segmented into like 0 to 50K, 50K to 100K, 100K to 200K, 200K plus. And I had like, you can see exactly who voted for what, right? So I told my sales team, I was like, message everyone that's making over 100K, right? It was like 300 people, right? Those are your customers right there, right? We already know if someone's making over 100K, especially the 200K plus people, they need what we're selling, and they're going to buy it, right? Yeah. Remember we talked about last time on the call of like targeting people over 100K. That's why I did that poll. And so, yeah, so I feel like I'm hitting figuring it out now is what, but I need to figure out how many of them came from the real estate, and how many came from the Instagram DMs. So
yeah, no, that explains it perfectly. That's awesome. Where did you get the idea for the Instagram poll? That's just top of your head.
Yeah, just from when we talked last time, right? So because I was like, okay, let me target this segment, and then just message these people. In fact, I'll probably do some Instagram stories where I'm like, if you make over 100K, listen up. This way, it's like completely filter right there. It's like only DM me this if you make over 100K. I'm only working with 6-figure earners right now.
Yeah. Did you and you've already done stories of like telling like your story about this process, right? And how you got from how you did it, and like
yeah. And then the other thing I put together that I thought was cool, but it didn't have much traction on Instagram. Let me see. I put together a financial freedom quiz. So if you go in, or actually, let me see, how did I set this up? Oh, let me see what the clicks were on this. So this one, yeah, financial freedom quiz. I promoted on Instagram. I only got 13 clicks on there. which is surprising. I would
Yeah.
have expected more.
How many people follow you? Yeah.
Yeah, and I got a couple thousand views on the story, but
Hmm.
if you go to this freedom quiz, it's basically, um, how much debt do you currently have? How much is your yearly income,
Right.
right? How much does your business make per month? I don't own a business, so I'm collecting all this data on these people too, um, and then net worth, and that's it. And then they put in their email address and phone number, right, and get their score. And then when they, and then in my backend system in Active Campaign, I'm tagging people with all of the categories. So now I'm collecting all this data, so I'll be able to know how much money they're making, what their net worth is, all this, so I can do segmented, targeting for them. And then when they send when they get their score, I tell them that what their score is, but then I tell them to book a call to find out what it means. So I'll have to try promoting this more, because the confidence quiz that worked really well, but for some reason this quiz on Instagram didn't hit. So maybe if I do it in a
What was your
reel.
call to action on it?
Let me see. I mean, I did a few. Let me see if my story is still. It was like, want to find out if you're close to achieving financial freedom, or if it's even a possibility
Okay,
for you to make.
did they have to like type that link in? Is that why?
No,
Oh,
no,
no,
they
it's right
can
there.
click right here.
Huh.
A lot of people, I feel like they don't click links, right? I maybe if I probably would have had better success if I said DM me, and then
I don't know. Like
maybe.
I feel like clicking a link. Maybe I wasn't really reading nice. I wasn't really reading like what you were saying. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird, because you would think, because I've tried it before too with other things where I've said click this link and I put the link there, and people won't click the link. But then if I said DM me and I'll give you the link, they DM me. Like I got like maybe 5
Which is
times.
weird because it's like more energy to do that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't quite get it, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know either.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've been working on getting that, and then um I did an hour-long YouTube video yesterday, because I'm gonna do 4 of those and see how they do. It was all like this kind of just diatribe on dating and relationships. So
What's your like thoughts on that in terms of why you want to do that?
the hour-long videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I went to that Grow with Video Live conference, what's his name? Evan Carmichael. He was the one who said the thumbnail back testing. But then the other thing he said that the fastest growing segment of YouTube videos on YouTube right now are hour-plus videos. So I thought, all right, well, let me do a test of doing 4 1-hour-plus videos and see how that performs.
Interesting. What was the data he presented on that?
He didn't have a lot of data on that, but I mean, I've been seeing it myself with my coaching clients. Like if you now, granted, a lot of the guys that I'm seeing this with are programmers, and so they have like 10-hour-long tutorials and stuff like that. But some of those videos that are like 10-hour-long tutorial, those get millions of views. So
Yeah, I'd be interested. I've seen it before a little bit of some other channels, but it's like for me, it was such an anomaly that I didn't seem it was worth trying out. And like the biggest thing for me, like that I don't want to cause harm is, you want consistency in your content, right? And like, I don't know, is like the length of a video considered inconsistent if you change the length of it, right? I don't know, because like we have shorts, right? Isn't that considered, you know?
the way I looked at it is, I thought, okay, well, there's 2 things. One is I'm couching it as a mini course, right? And I think that's the way to do it, because if someone's like, oh, this is an hour-long video, skip. But if then they're like, oh, this is a mini course that I'm getting for free, watch, right? So it creates a different value perception. And then the second thing about it is it's it's not like you're just producing a bunch of hour long content. Um you're doing this every once in a while. One example of this that is in our space is shoot, what's his name? Leo
Grew up.
Actualized.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Because actually, let me take a look here real
His
quick.
channel blew up back in the day, and he was doing the. I researched this when he first came out with it. Me and my brother did. He was doing the. He was buying like the backlinks and like putting them on dead websites to grow his channel.
To grow his YouTube channel?
Yeah, back in the day when he first came out with his channel, like Google was still not policing that, so that he was allowed to do that. Like my brother found like he put a lot, like he put his YouTube channel like all over thousands of dead websites.
Oh, and it works for
Yeah,
the
it did back in the day. I think Google
okay,
like
yeah.
yeah, and so that's how he originally blew up.
But I mean, the fact that he's still getting this many views on his videos,
He built his cult following now. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
like, he has
Oh
his,
yeah. But he's got videos that are like, look how long his videos are. All of his videos.
yeah, 3 4 hours.
Yeah, they're all super super long videos. And so I mean, and think about this, right? If he's got a video, right? Because it's to get like 50 60K 70Ks on a video views on a 10-minute video, that's pretty damn good, right? If you get that on a freaking 2.5 hour long video, do you know how much watch time and how much freaking AdSense revenue? Not that I think AdSense revenue is a smart way to make money, but you know how much AdSense revenue this guy must be making? An insane amount, because his watch time is insane.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. It's just an experiment. I'm going to see what happens. I would do 4 hour long videos and then see how they perform better than regular videos or
Yeah,
not.
yeah. Yeah, I've wanted to come out with um like a complete pick a video like from hello to get in the bedroom, step by step, just to provide value to the audience. But yeah, I want to see how yours do. If I put the effort in, use you as
Yeah.
a pig.
Yeah.
Like you're the guinea pig for like all the thumbnail and the hour long videos. It's like right.
Yeah. It'd be basically like a mini course. I think that's the way.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen some other people do that as well, and it works with varying degrees. But I think it's like anything, John. It's like how much value do you put in that video? Is it structured? Is it like do people want to watch? It's like, or are you just sitting there talking like a podcast for an hour? I think it depends on also the framing of it, right? Like how you frame the whole video from start to finish, like the idea of it, the title, like in the very beginning, like hey, this video, if you're going to skip around, you're not going to get the results. Kind of like, putting these little cues, like psychological cues again to kind of stay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I think that's like right now I'm just testing it without putting much effort into it. Just like you said, an hour long podcast. But I do think like if you did structure it like a real course and you did, really put the effort in, that it probably would have really good results. And I don't know, I've been thinking more about that again. We talked about this before, but I had one of my coaching clients this week and he does like programming stuff, but he had a video. His average views for his videos are like around 200 to 300 views. And then he has like some tutorial videos that are around 1,500 views. Right. And he was like, I was like, do more tutorial videos. He's like, oh, I don't want to. They take twice as long. And I was
I
like,
don't want to put in the work.
they take twice as long. I was like, okay, so do less videos and do those because you're getting 5 times the views, right? So
Or twice the
instead
amount
of
of work. Right.
yeah, exactly. So, but then I was like, I should really be telling myself the same fucking thing, right? Because and I've discovered this too with Nikhil, right? As I've been coaching him, it's like he puts a like he already knows. He knows if he puts in a certain amount of work into a video that it will get a certain number of views. So he already has that system. He knows. He consciously says, all right, I'm going to make this video do 200K views. So that should be right there. Like that's we should really be thinking more along those lines and producing the content rather than the volume of content, or even the cadence is probably not as important. It probably would be better to like spend 2 weeks on one video and make it really exceptional than it would be to produce 6 videos in those 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's where we're going with right now. And so far, the results haven't shown with these past 3 videos I posted. They've gotten the same amount of views as other videos that I've put in half the effort in. So, I mean, that goes against that. But I don't know. Part of me thinks it's maybe the idea and the title. It needs more effort. Like I feel like I should, as far as effort goes, like putting more like energy and effort into the idea of the video and the title and the thumbnail, because that's where I kind of like don't put as much effort. I put more of the effort into the script writing and the recording and the editing, which is like, even I did a consultation with Ed from Film Booth, and I was considering joining his course, and he was like, yeah, Josh, he goes, I put in like 70, 80, like Prayers Principle. I put in 80% into the idea, thumbnail and title and hook.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a lot. Yeah. I mean, that
And
makes,
I mean, even Mr. Beast, like his idea machine for the videos, he has like 200 ideas before he picks a video. He spends like an hour a day on ideas alone.
wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Huh. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, that does make sense though.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I did too is I recorded a new VSL because we are talking about that. So the Facebook ads guy, he put together a nice uh you know plant like a script for me basically, and so
Oh,
I
really?
recorded, yeah, and I did both like you said. I did one recording where I made some slides and I went through the slides, and then I did one where I just did it straight to the camera, and so I asked my editor to to combine the two. So I
Nice.
think that'll hopefully
Wait, you
just,
did 2 separate recordings?
yeah.
Oh, you could have. I feel like I don't know when I did. Maybe you couldn't do this, but like what I did is like I had the screen recording of my slides and I had a camera, and then I would have like face segments when I would be recording my screen and my camera. And I press record on the camera, and then you
Mhm.
splice it all together. I don't know. Maybe you would have saved time doing it that way.
Well, the problem was like when I did the slides, I had my face at the bottom of the screen, right?
Right.
But 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 the problem is like when I did just at the camera, I wanted to look at the camera,
Um,
right? So I could read the script and not look at the camera. Like I could have had a second camera, right? You know what I mean? But the problem would be that it'd be clear that I'm reading off a script. Whereas what I did with this one was I looked at the line, memorized the line, set it to the camera, and
mhm.
so it's kind of a tedious process, but I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it'll be a good result. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing how that goes. Um, Yeah, for me, like this wrap things up for me on my end. Like, I mean, the marriage program, like getting those guys results is really important. And then
yeah.
just yeah, considering like just like because the sunk cost fallacy with YouTube and just how much I'm passionate about it, just trying to figure out how to crack that code and see if I should go with coaching next month with those guys or not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think eventually I'll crack it, John. The YouTube game.
Yeah.
It's I was watching the Jake Tran video that Nikhil interviewed Jake Tran.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just talking about like that just you have to be different, right? And just like I'm like I've been in the YouTube space for so long, especially self-development. Like I remember when whiteboard animation videos came out and much of those channels blew up because it was something new,
Yeah.
right? It's like if you could deliver the same content just with a different format, but I'm trying to figure out like what would be that unique spin, because like with us, like we were talking head, right? And like I try to implement some editing of like putting studies and skits in there, and like those videos do tend to do better if I put my energy and effort into it. But I'm trying to think of like what is the unique spin here, and it's not something we can answer on this call in the next couple minutes, but just kind of talking out loud, like can I put a unique spin on like this delivering the content that is fresh, Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've thought about that as well. That's a tough one. Like what do you do that
Yes, I mean something I have in alignment with like Nikhil is like the entertainment, like humor, like and like
yeah.
leaning maybe more into that because that's something close to who I am. And like one of my two, I think 3 out of the top 5 videos that I have, like I'm like adding humorous skits into like the content of like NoFap, right, and teaching through that and like being funny, and that is something unique, and maybe I should lean into that. I've always wanted to, but yeah, I'm
I mean, your latest videos are doing good.
they're doing all right. I mean, I expected minimum 20K views, to be honest, like at least double the views, like from like we're getting on average 7K, I think, before this on average.
Yeah.
I expect at least 15 to 20 with the amount of
Oh,
effort.
I see.
Some people
Yeah.
put in.
But it may take time of consistently producing this higher quality in order to start seeing the
Like
results
a,
from it. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, I do know.
Because
Well, I don't know. Maybe this is premature of me, but like I was thinking, like we should have enough data after 10 videos to be like, was the the amount of paying the editor,
yeah.
150 per video, pretty much, and the from like 8 hours of producing the content to like 16 hours, is that worth the amount of views we're getting after 10 videos? I don't know. Is,
Yeah.
is that short-term
Which
thinking like flawed? Do you think? You think I should be thinking more long-term, or do you think that's like fine to be more?
I think 10 videos will give you enough data because that gives you a chance to have one, you know, real big hit out of there,
That's what I'm
which is
hoping, man. Like it just takes one, like one
yeah.
big, yeah, video to blow up.
I think the other thing about this too, which is I've been thinking about this a lot, just in strategy as well as like, and I keep on saying this, but I want to make this shift, which is that like take these quality videos that you have right now, right?
Yeah.
So you might not see a lot more views on them because the views are mostly influenced by people clicking them, some metrics that YouTube looks at, right? But um but what's really gonna reduce, get you the most views, I think, ultimately on your videos is people coming back and then consuming your video every time that that it comes out, right? So repeat viewers, right? That's a key thing. And the way that you get repeat viewers is by having really good content where people are like, oh shit, like I'm going to watch the next video from this, right? And so I think that if you keep on producing these super high quality ones, that what's going to happen is that you're going to start to get that effect where you get the repeat viewers. And I was thinking about this just in general. It's like, you know, I want to make this cut over with the content I'm producing, with everything I'm producing with Bulldog Mindset, and make everything be top notch, right? Like just thinking about, because if everything was top notch, and then people would come back all the time, and the more that people come back, the better off you, because that's really the way to grow, is to have people come back, because it sucks when people watch something and then they never watch anything again. But if my focus on all my content, everything I put out, from a story to a reel to a video, was make someone or an email even, right, make someone come back, like they want to do this again, then I think that, that's probably the approach that would win. So
Yeah, and that's simply like providing value, right? And that could be in the form of entertainment, teaching them something new, which, and if you combine both, that's like, holy crap, this guy gives me so much value, right? So yeah.
yeah. So yeah, and I was listening to, like, I was just finally listening to MJ Demarco's new book, the what's it called, the Escape the Rat Race or whatever. And he was talking about in there too. He was like, it's like if you do a good product, like if each component of your thing is good, then when you combine them all together, it'll be bad, because it'll always be less, right? So he's like, if you make every single component of whatever you're producing excellent, then it'll be very good at the end. And it was like, and I thought about that. I was like, that's so interesting, because he was talking about his, like, every chapter of this book that he wrote, he was trying to make it that if it was a college paper, it would be an A plus. And I was like, okay, that's smart. Like
How's
thinking
that?
that
I'm
way.
not disagreeing with it, but how's that logic work? If all the videos on your channel are good, how does that make for an average channel?
Well, what I'm saying is that the combined, it's not like all the videos, it's like for one piece of thing, right? So it's like if each segment is it's going to be whatever it is, it's the average is going to be less than the individual component, right? So don't take all the videos on your channel. Let's just say you're making one video, and let's say that video is broken into like 15 different segments, right? If those segments are just good, then when you aggregate them all together, it's going to be worse than the whole will be worse, right? It's always going to be slightly worse, right? Because there's going to be some pieces in there, some gaps. There's going to be some loss, right? Just like if you built a system, I'm trying to think of a good analogy, but if you built a really tight system, and through engineering, and you had each component of the pipeline, right, overall the entire system is not going to be as good. There's going to be some loss. There's going to be some friction. There's going to be some things that are not going to, when you put it all together, it's not going to be as good as each individual piece, because there's always going to be some loss. And so I think that's kind of the concept there, is it's like you need to make every single piece super, super good, so that when it's put together, well, I guess you could think of it just in terms of a book, right? If you write a book, if if you have some really, really good chapters in there, but then some chapters that are not so good, the overall book is going to be less than your really good chapters, right? But if you have only really good chapters in there, then that book overall is going to be a lot higher quality. There's still going to be some chapters that you think are really good, but are not as good. And so it's going to bring the average down. So you have to strive for everything to be really, really good.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
But
Cool. Yeah, I have this quote that I always like kind of hear by, that's like, you aim for perfection and you fail in excellence. You
yeah.
know? So cool. All right, John, I have another meeting. Thank you for the support and everything, man. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say, but